Hello, everyone, and welcome to Be All You Can Be with Dr. B. I am Dr. Monique Baucham, the Provost of Brazosport College. This podcast is dedicated to all things BC. So this will be the first place you hear about new initiatives, exciting things happening on campus, growth opportunities, anything we're doing out in the community, you will hear right here on this podcast. So today I'd like to welcome my very first guest, Dr. Ann Bartlett, our Vice President of Industry and Strategic Initiatives.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. I'd also like to welcome Chris Mazzino, our illustrious Program Director of the Law Enforcement Academy.
Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Okay. And the phenomenal Samantha Rissacker, our Director of Nursing.
Getting better and better. Thank you.
All
Thank you so much
right,
for having me.
Okay. So today we're going to discuss some new scholars and scholarship programs that we will be launching here at Brazosport College. So first question, Dr. Bartlett, what is a return on investment program?
So, we are blessed at BC to have amazing support from our community and to have a very supportive tax space as well. One of the things that the institution has decided to do is to reinvest in our community. And so, what this means is that we're going to be taking some of the tax dollars and some of the institutional resources that we have and reinvesting them in our community. And so, what that translates to is that we are using these funds to help subsidize tuition and fees for targeted programs and for targeted populations, because at the end of the day, our whole reason for being is to improve the quality of life for people in our community. And our strong belief is that providing financial resources along with other supports is going to help raise all boats in the harbor and make the Brazosport community a better place to work, live, and play.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for clarifying that for us. So now let's talk about the specific programs. What is the Momentum program?
Aha, that would be me as well.
Okay.
Momentum is actually probably the newest of the three programs that we're going to be talking about today. And it is a first dollar program that will help cover the tuition and fees of full-time students who are pursuing a associate's degree or a bachelor's degree at Brazosport College. So, in addition to providing that kind of financial support, though, there are all kinds of student supports that are also embedded in the program. So, there is a one point of contact who will help guide students through how to register for classes, how to complete different paperworks, how to navigate sometimes what can be a really difficult quagmire of processes at the college. Our Momentum scholars will have one point of contact to help walk them through all of that. They'll also be able to leverage all of the amazing student supports that every student at BC has access to, including Gatormart and our emergency support and all of our writing centers and tutoring programs. But I think one of the most beautiful things about Momentum is that they will also have an opportunity to go through their journey achieving their associate or bachelor's degrees as a cohort. And so that means that they will meet regularly as a group. They will have volunteer opportunities that they participate in as a group. And so they're not only experiencing all the wonderful things that Brazosport College has to offer at no cost, but they're also developing a certain sense of self and a certain sense of belonging that I think is unique to this program. So we're super excited
Yes.
about the financial investment and about the difference that we know it's going to make in the lives of people.
Awesome. So everyone, make sure that if you didn't get it the first time, hit rewind and listen to all that is entailed in the Momentum program. Brazosport College is reinvesting tax dollars in our community. I'm going to shift right now to Chris. Tell us a little bit about the Blue Line Scholar Program.
So the Blue Line Scholarship was established for this academic year, the 25-26 academic year, and the intent was that these dollars were to be administered at the program level and were given to us flexible enough so that we could use it for various purposes. So I consider it flexible where we can use it for tuition and fees. We can use it to cover some upfront program costs like uniforms and books and things of that nature. We can also use it kind of on the back end of things to where if we have students who have gone through our program and have reached a certain milestone, then we can use that as tuition and fees to kind of get them and push them across the finish line, helping to retain those students.
One of the things I wanted to mention about the Law Enforcement Academy program, I think it's important for people to know that you all have a 100% pass rate for the last several years.
That is correct, and we're very proud of that.
Absolutely. And then the majority of your graduates, not only will they have passed the exam, but most of them actually have employment opportunities.
That is correct. So our students are free to seek employment opportunities while they're still enrolled with us, and many of those law enforcement agencies will go ahead and make those conditional employment offers to where they can actually get sworn in and receive their badge of office at graduation. Very nice gesture.
It really is. Also, how many classes do you run typically during the course of a year?
3. So 2 full-time programs and 1 part-time program each academic year.
Awesome. So, Blue Line Scholars. I'm going to shift over now to Samantha. Let's talk about a Nursing Scholars Program.
All right. So, similar to what the Blue Line is, this is going to be funds that are going to be reinvested back into the community, specifically to help support nursing students. And so, the Nursing Scholars Program is going to be directed at a new program that we'll be launching the summer of 2026. With the Texas Board of Nursing approval, we'll be launching a part-time associate degree nursing track. And so I'm just incredibly excited about the track itself. It's going to open up a lot of doors for people that have wanted to go to nursing school and that would be great at it, um, and just haven't had the ability to from a financial standpoint of enrolling in classes, multiple classes all at one time, or just a time front of needing to be available, typically 4 days a week. So the part-time track, like I said, will plan to launch summer of 2026. And then the nursing scholars piece of it will help cover all of the costs from the initial uniforms and equipment costs up to the tuition and books and fees. And so really, it's going to be hard to come up with excuses of why not to go at this point if this is something that they feel called to do. This is just an incredible opportunity to get a degree plan that opens up a lifetime of opportunities for them and their family.
I'd like to take a moment to brag just a little bit on the nursing program. Nursing program also has very, very strong pass rates. The NCLEX preparation that you all help students do in order to sit and prepare for the exam is amazing. We have some of the best nursing instructors in the state of Texas. And of course, we are very, very fortunate to have Sam leading up the program. As you can see, I have a dynamic team here. I've got a
You
dynamic
have a good
team.
group.
And then we are going to ensure that we are community facing. So tell me a little bit about what happens when they graduate and how this will impact the community.
So I think one of the advantages of the Nursing Scholars Program is kind of an obvious one as far as while they're in the program, unable to work, at least most likely in a full-time capacity, that they're able to support their family, that they're able to not work as many hours and have a higher likelihood of being academically successful. And then I think on the back end, once you're talking about graduation, everyone wants to have that degree and not have to turn around and start paying back student loans. And so getting that first nursing job and where they're working, where they decide to accept a position based on really where they feel called to be versus, a dire need to start paying back a student loan. I think that just, it's so freeing for them to not have that stress added to them.
I'd like to just take note of something you mentioned, debt-free opportunity. How many college students actually finish complete a degree with no debt? That is extremely rare. Or they're able to complete a certificate that leads to a very progressive livable wage, like in the LEA Academy. Those are things that are amazing. So we want to make sure that that's not lost. The fact that these are debt-free opportunities to pursue an education, to give back to the community, to be able to actually have a sustaining wage. At Brazosport College, we elevate lives, and that's what we do every day. And that's what these programs are intended to do. Chris, you want to tell me a little bit about how this will impact the community?
So I think anytime we can add more public safety, it's going to be a good thing. So like with every opportunity in the world, it's always better when it's safe and secure to do so, right? So anytime we can supply our communities or our law enforcement agency partners with good candidates, that's going to be a plus for everyone. I'll echo something that Sam said as far as like I think anyone has probably at some point in their life experienced financial stress. So the correlation is like it's hard to kind of focus and study, or it may be hard to focus and study on these major exams because the law enforcement academy is fairly intense academically. And so to be able to focus on your academic studies without having to worry so much about is the light bill going to get paid or whatever that situation may be. So I think the relief that she mentioned, I think will be huge for us.
So one of the things that's unique about Momentum versus both the nursing and the LEA program is that it is not aligned with a specific academic track. And so anybody who is pursuing an associate or a bachelor's degree at BC who lives in our service area is eligible for Momentum. In terms of the benefits of it, again, what's special about Momentum is that it is first dollar. And so let's say that someone qualifies for federal financial aid and gets full Pell benefits. That means that that money goes in their pocket. And so not only are they able to graduate with zero debt because Momentum will cover their tuition and fees, but it also means that while they are in school, they have that additional entitlement support to help them live off of. And so, to your point, when I think about not only graduating with zero debt and a high skill, high growth occupation that's going to lead me to a family sustaining wage, but if I could do that along the way without having to work and being able to leverage some of my federal entitlements to live, like that's a win win win.
Sam, I remember you telling me about a student that was having trouble, staying awake in class because his only option was to actually work overnight and then come to class in the morning. He did it. He persisted. Just think about the relief there. I was also at a Rotary meeting recently, and there were some students that spoke at the Rotary meeting, as they do every meeting. And one student mentioned that she has a 4.0, but that she was going to take time off after high school to work and to save up money. She wants to come to Brazosport College. And I asked the president, could I just say a few words? And I talked about the Momentum program. You're talking about a kid that has a 4.0. We have resources for her to be able to come here and to get her education. Clearly, she's already dedicated to it. Clearly. Just think about how different her life could be. I also think about all the students that are first generation. One of the things I absolutely love about both the pinning ceremony and the LEA graduation, this last LEA graduation was standing room only. It was packed. And then when we go to the pinning ceremonies, a lot of times these graduates are the first in their families to have pursued a college education. We don't want the lack of finances to hinder pursuing a dream. You need to come, and guess what? You don't have to do it alone. As Dr. Bartlett mentioned, we have support services here. You can come and get help filling out a financial aid application or filling out the college application. You don't have to do it alone. So let's talk a little bit about what might be some of the eligibility criteria for applying.
So, for Momentum in particular, you do have to be a resident of our service area. The majority of the positions in the Momentum program, and we're targeting 100 people a year. And so around 75% of them we're targeting need to be in the Brazosport College taxing district, so in the BISD service area. And the reason behind that, we don't really need to talk about. Um, in addition to that eligibility, you have to have already been tested through the TSIA2 and be college ready. Because we want to make sure that once you enter the Momentum program, you are enrolled full time. And so we don't need to spend any time on developmental courses. We want to make sure that you are ready to go because you are powering through. We anticipate that you will take a full load, which is 12 hours every long semester, and then the balance over the summer. So every year you should finish 30 credit hours. So within 2 years, you should be done with your associate's degree.
It's wonderful.
It's a beautiful thing.
So, what's the eligibility criteria for LEA?
So Law Enforcement Academy is one of three secondary admissions programs that we have here at BC, the other being nursing and the other being the Bachelor of Applied Technology programs. So in addition to gaining admission to the institution, we have very specific criteria that are set forth for us from the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement. It includes things like criminal history check, physical and drug screen, psychological evaluation, et cetera. So once we clear all of those tasks, and we can actually grant them an approval to enroll in our program. So that would be our baseline eligibility criteria.
And yeah, and similar to the police academy, the nursing program is, like he said, is a secondary application cycle. So for the part-time ADN track, that application window is December 1st through January 31st. And in addition to the application, the students are also completing what's called the HESI exam. It's an standardized admission exam that we use to help select students for the program. So the application, the HESI exam, and completion of the prerequisite courses with a C or higher. And so all of that information is listed on our website. If you Googled Brazosport College, you'll be able to get to that. And so then once we've offered a student a spot in that part-time track, that will be the baseline eligibility. There will be some requirements moving forward if they participate in the Nursing Scholars Program, and that's going to include some defined community service hours and some program check-in meetings, just to make sure that we are all on the same page and that we're moving forward towards that graduation line.
So, there's some things I want to highlight that each of you just said. One, you said 100. 100 is the goal, the target for the first year of Momentum
Yes,
program.
ma'am.
Okay. And then you mentioned about the Texas state criteria that's established.
That's
So,
correct.
so that just speaks to the quality of the program. And then I'd also like to note that we currently have a wait list for our nursing program. And so, if approved again by the Board of Nursing, and we launch this summer for a part time nursing program, every time I mention this anywhere, somebody always asks, "Can I go ahead and apply right now?" We're like, wait just a second. We need to get it approved and then we'll be ready to go. But I can only imagine that we're going to have a wait list out the gate for that one as well.
I agree. I think that this, like I said, I think it's going to open a lot of doors up for people that have wanted to go to nursing school, and it just wasn't feasible with the way that we've historically offered it. And I think that that just means for our community that we're going to get some nurses out into the community that have that heart and that desire to really do it, and to take care of the people in our community. So I'm just so excited because it just, like I said, it opens up so many opportunities for them and their family.
That's exciting.
Very much so.
I want to just also take a moment to give a shout out to Dr. Bartlett's team. Dr. Bartlett has a team of individuals that are working on momentum programs
Mhm.
and grants and adult education and corporate training, and of course, the best small business development center in the state of Texas. So I just wanted to take a moment and give a shout out there to them because they are not here today. But I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge all the work that they are putting into ensuring that these programs are a success.
And one of the beautiful things about working at Brazosport College is the amazing people that are our colleagues. And so it's not every day that you can wake up with a mission and a purpose to go to work, but also know that once you get there, you're going to be there with like minded people. So I think that we are all extremely blessed to not only work with smart people, but with nice people who collaborate and are willing to put in the hard work because we're all here to make sure that our students are successful.
Our goal here is to optimize student success. We want our students to realize their dreams. And if we can help partner to do that, that's awesome. So I'd like to talk a little bit about let's talk about advice that you would give to potential applicants. Sam, let's start with you.
Okay, yeah, I'll start. Um, I think one of the pieces of advice that I would give is if they have the opportunity to shadow in the healthcare field, to take full advantage of that opportunity. I love that our high school partners um, have created healthcare tracks where students can get involved in this type of field early on. But I just think sometimes, you don't know what you don't know. And so if you can get in there and experience and decide really either direction, whether I absolutely love this or you know what, this isn't quite it. I would just always encourage that for any student to just take those opportunities to shadow. And then I think the other piece that I would just offer is that the programs are really intense. They are. The content is hard. I always say the content is hard because the job is hard. It's really taking care of human beings is complex. We don't always follow the rules like the book says we're going to, and so we have to be able to critically think and make judgment calls in the moment. So I would just encourage students to, those prerequisite courses are designed intentionally, and so that's that foundational information. So when you're talking about anatomy and physiology and how the human body works, just to absorb it. You're not in the nursing program yet at that point when you're taking those courses, but it will serve you very well moving forward if you have a really strong foundation for that content.
What about you, Chris?
For us, I think the transition from whatever whatever life path an individual was in before coming to us, our industry has with it a certain set of expectations that is often much, much higher than that of the general public. And that includes even your off-duty private life behavior. So that can seem a little foreign to some people as they're adjusting to that way of thinking. And as far as before getting to us, I would say that to be cognizant of timelines and time management, not procrastinating because some of the tasks in our application process are very time sensitive.
And what about you?
Like my colleagues, I have two pieces of advice. I think the first one is that clearly from both what Sam and Chris have shared, these are two competitive programs that we have. And Momentum, while we have 100 spots, we only have 100 spots. And so I think my first piece of advice is if you apply and you are not admitted for whatever reason, don't let that be a stopper at all. There are tons of scholarships available at Brazosport College outside of these reinvestment programs. And so if dollars are a challenge for you and you don't land a spot in Momentum or in part-time nursing or in Blue Line, it doesn't mean that there's not a way and a place for you here at Brazosport College. So that's number one. Number two is that we realize, and I kind of feel like I'm Southwest Airlines here, like you have a choice when you fly the friendly skies. We realize that you have a choice, that students have a choice when they decide where they're going to go to school. And Brazosport College aims to be the college of choice. But what that means is not only us working really hard to make sure that our students have an outstanding academic experience, but that there's more. That there are supports here at Brazosport College that people are not aware of, and even the students that are here don't always take advantage of. So when you finally do become a Gator and join us here at BC, my advice would be to lean into the many opportunities that are here because we're more than just a school, we're a family.
I would like to offer two pieces of advice. One, make sure you meet the deadlines for applications, for any other document submissions, get those in. And I would suggest you give yourself a 2-day window there to get it in a little bit early because just in case something is lost or something doesn't transfer in on time, you don't want to miss out on these amazing opportunities. And I think the second piece of advice I would give is don't let age limits keep you from being a part of. We have students from the age of 12, yes, so she's 13 now, and so she's a homeschool student, and she's here and she takes dual credit classes. We have our students all the way up to 60, 70 because they're here and they want to complete their education and actually pursue a dream. I tell my students all the time, your education is something no one can take away from you.
Correct.
And so we want to make sure that everybody takes advantage of that.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do one last round call here to see if you have anything additional you would like to add. You want to start, Sam?
Yeah, so I'll just take the opportunity just to share about the nursing programs as a whole. And so we essentially offer, and we 3 tracks currently. So we have an LVN certificate program that runs for 12 months. We have a associate degree program that's 2 years. Like I said, we'll be launching the part-time ADN track, which will last for 3 years. And then we also have what's called a transition or a bridge program, and that's for nurses with an LVN certificate, and they bridge over with 1 year of college to get that associate degree and work as an RN. So there's a lot of opportunities right here. You don't necessarily have to go to the bigger schools to get that RN license and be able to work in the type of facility that you would like to.
Great. Thank you, Sam.
You know, for us, our application period opens next month for 2 cohorts that will start in the summer. I'll be shooting a new promotional video and an information series to go along with the application program, so we're looking forward to that. We do have a social media presence now that is out there to keep up with updates and information and things like that.
Well, shout out to Caesar and our amazing marketing team. Okay? All right. And
So 2 things that I would offer to kind of close out the conversation from a momentum perspective is, number 1, our applications opens in March, and it's going to be based on first come, first serve as well. So like my colleagues, and as you advised as well, get it in early. That's super important. And then I think the other thing is to keep in mind that we've got lots of pathways here at Brazosport College, and we like to celebrate what people bring to the college. So if you are a recent high school graduate who has earned their certified nurse assistant, we can celebrate that and we can figure out a way to give you credit for what you have brought to the table. For our incumbent workers who maybe have been out in the plant and you have your NCCR core and you have been working as a laborer and you're like, you know what? I want to do more. Come back to BC. Whether or not you actually took CNBT 1318 and earned your NCCR core with us or not doesn't matter. We can do a credit for credential, and we're going to celebrate everything, every experience that you bring to the table to BC to help you reach your goals.
that's great. You all have been amazing guests. I think the last thing I would just simply say is 2 things. 1, this is short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. So get in, let's get it done, and let's graduate. The second thing I would say in closing, imagine yourself in your cap and gown, walking across the stage, receiving your certificate or degree. Can you imagine that? Now imagine your family seeing that. That's worth it. So, you heard it here first on this podcast, the Scholars Program, the Scholarship Programs. We've got Momentum, we've got Blue Line Scholars, and we've got the Nursing Program. Listen, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Be All You Can Be with Dr. B, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.